Defense, we'll see what they can do. DeAndre Johnson, number 81, keep an eye on him. Mason Hoover is the quarterback. Hoover is a sophomore. And this looks like DeAndre Johnson. We got a delay of game. They snapped it to Hoover as a flag. And it is a delay of game. So Mason Hoover was not taking that snap, but that was going to be a direct snap to Johnson, and it'll be 1st and 15.
I think it was. He was lifting his leg up and down.
Yeah.
He was making the call there. I think that was going to be a direct snap. Because now, look, he's going to the outside right now.
Yep, and now Hoover's back in the game. So 1st and 15 for the Gold Rocks. Hoover back to pass. Got some time, flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run with it, and he's brought down after a short gain. It'll be 2nd down at about the 32-yard line, and unfortunately, it looks like we've got a Bennett player down on the turf. And now he's up, and hopefully all right.
So there was the replay right there, and you actually saw right the middle open up. There was a double team on Rashad Perry right there that helped open up that hole a little bit. That was right up the A gap right there.
Jason Guan was the player who was able to get off the field under his own power. It'll be 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain for Newburgh Free Academy. Still a bit of a buzz in this crowd over that Jaden Lewis touchdown run. 2nd and 9. And we get 3 wide receivers to the near side, one at the top of your screen. Hoover takes the snap, looks to throw, throws near side, nice catch, but tackled immediately, brought down by Jason Johnson on the reception, and he was tackled immediately, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. There's the replay, nice catch, and a nice tackle there by Kamari Cook.
Great job, too. That was obviously a screen right there that was set up. You could see the penetration that obviously they're letting the guys penetrate there to set that screen up. But you could see Cook stayed back, held his position to be able to get that big tackle right there.
3rd and 10. They lost a yard on that one. Hoover back to pass. Got time. He throws, and it's incomplete. Intended, it looked like, for Elijah Bevier. And the Gold Rocks go penalty and 3 and out. And what a great start for the Bennett Tigers. And now Jameer Thomas will go back deep to return the punt.
He's not going back that far either. Right now, Bennett's setting themselves up for another great field position here. Newburgh definitely cannot afford to go down early in this game by 2 scores. And if, God forbid, it's another score, another 2-point conversion, even tougher.
And it's a real high punt. Aaron Roseborough on the near side will watch it bounce. It'll take a Newburgh bounce, and it'll be down at about the 32-yard line. DeAndre Johnson, also the punter apparently. 37 yards on the punt. Bennett will take over 1st and 10 with 9:47 to play, and the Tigers already up 8-0. Bennett has run one play from scrimmage and have an 8-0 lead.
So now we're getting into this game a little bit, and that's a big defensive stop right there, especially to go 3 and out, make the punt. Now let's see what the answer is again for this defense for Newburgh. Look at the box. Look at how many people are in the box. Everyone but one player.
And they're going to pass it, and here's Davis in trouble. He throws it up for grabs, and he actually throws it out of bounds on the far side. Good call, Tom. They did. They stacked that box. They saw that 77-yard TD run, and it's like, that's not going to happen to us again.
Literally everybody but one, right? It was a one-on-one matchup to the outside. That box is stacked. When you see that, you obviously don't have enough matchups right there where someone's going to be able to get through, and that's exactly what you saw right there.
So 2nd and 10 for Bennett now. And they will hand that one off, and there's no room to run for Lewis there. He either no gain or maybe even lost a yard. He'll bring up 3rd down and long as Lewis was stopped.
Looked like the first one in on the tackle was number 88, Jashawn Thomas right there. But again, right now, the best we've seen as far as the defensive line now look for Newburgh. But you actually saw it. There were 6 to 7 guys right now on the line, on the defensive line right there. So you're going to see them spread out. Now they're going to look for the pass. Let's see now with less guys rushing what they can do.
And might have been a jump, but Davis is going to throw it deep, and it's incomplete, overthrown, intended for Dominic Howard, and that'll bring up a 4th down. Now, Newburgh, one of their players, looked like he might have jumped, but he was able to get back on time, and that'll bring up a 4th down, 4th and 10 for the Tigers, and they will punt it away. Back deep will be Joe Alicia, and Jaden Lewis comes on to punt for Bennett. So Bennett goes 3 and out.
Nice answer, at least by Newburgh, right? They got the answer they wanted to make sure this didn't turn into a 2-score game early.
And Lewis gets the punt away. And it will bounce and get a Bennett roll. And it'll roll inside the 35-yard line. Be down at about the 33. Looked like there was a little bit of miscommunication between Jason Johnson and Joe Alicia over who was going to do what with that punt, and then they both smartly let it roll. But when the punt was still in the air, they were kind of like still talking to each other.
Well, obviously communicating, right? That's what you want. You want to be able to communicate right there, especially because you can see, we all saw, especially even last game by the Pleasantville team that we saw, a lot of fake handoffs and different things on special teams, that anything could be going on right now that they could be talking about and preparing for if one's going to make the catch.
So it's 1st and 10, Gold Rocks at their own 33-yard line. And there's the first run of the day for Newburgh. Tajir Walker on the carry. Got about 4 yards, bring up 2nd down. Second down. 2nd and about 4. 2nd and 4 exactly. They gave him 6 yards on the carry. 8:18 and counting to go in the first quarter. Bennett leads this one 8-0. A 77-yard touchdown run by Jaden Lewis on the first play from scrimmage. And there's a handoff, and coming to the near side and getting the first down before being brought down is Tajir Walker, and that's the first down of the game for Newburgh. Now, I was watching on the near side here where DeAndre Johnson was he lined up against Jaden Lewis, or was that Aaron Roseborough? I just saw where DeAndre went. I didn't see who was lined up next to him.
I didn't see who was lined up right next to him right there, but you just saw the replay happen on the screen. What you saw there, what Newburgh did a good job getting outside the tackle right there very quickly to be able to turn that into a very positive run for their team. First down right here for Newburgh.
Now it's Roseborough lined up across from Johnson. They'll throw to the far side, and the throw is high and incomplete. We're getting some input that it might be a lateral, but apparently the officials did not rule that way. And that's going to go as an incomplete pass. It was very close, but the officials said, no, it's not a lateral, and it's 2nd and 10.
You can see right you can just see, though, the penetration that Bennett is getting. And when you do that, you're going to need to set things up. Watch more screens for Newburgh. Watch some quick out throws, especially when you got guys that got 10 yards cushion out there that you see.
And now they're going to try it again. They throw the pass, and a nice tackle there. It's Kamari Cook bringing down Tajir Walker. And if he didn't gain much, and maybe even, did he even lose a yard?
He lost the yard, yeah.
So it's 3rd down and 11. And the ball spotted at the Newburgh 46-yard line.
Cook, another great job right there. You saw tackling the ball, get to the ball quickly, especially in open space. That's twice he's done it in open space, too. Great tackle right there.
3rd and 11 for the Gold Rocks. And now Johnson goes to the far side on the top of the screen. And Hoover goes back to pass. He's got time. Now he's going to run. And, he takes a big stick, a big hit from who else? Kamari Cook. And he's short of the first down. Looked like he wanted to throw it. Nothing was there. Decided to run. And here's the replay. Now he's going to take off. And he's brought, Kamari Cook is a sure tackler. 4th down and 8, he did get 3 yards. And we'll take another look at this one before we see the punt. Kamari
this is
Cook.
Ground level. He's going to run right at us right here. Check this out. As he runs right at us, you can see Cook do what he's been doing today.
And the punt will take a bounce for Newburgh, and they will let it roll. It'll go down inside the 10, all the way down to about the 5-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Bennett. So a good punt there. And now the Tigers will have to start deep in their own end and try to drive it down the field to add to their 8-0 lead. Good punt there, and a good bounce for Newburgh. So we'll see as the game develops how Newburgh's approach might change. And I'm going to take a guess. They're going to start looking a little bit more for DeAndre Johnson.
We haven't seen it yet, but I'm shocked we haven't seen the box stacked. We do now. See? Look at this. They're expecting the run. They're stacking the box.
And they get a run, and there's very little running room there for Jameer Thomas. And it'll be 2nd down. And now in that formation, Jaden Lewis was split out to the near side.
DeAndre Johnson was in on the tackle on that one. You could just see is they're anticipating the run right now, and they are literally bringing the house right now to stop that run.
If you go back to last year, the game turned very early for Bennett when they fumbled inside their own 5 and Carmel punched it in. Now we have Thomas and Lewis split toward the bottom of your screen. And Davis will hand that one off, and there's a short gain out to about the 7-yard line. Noah McDuffie on the carry there. Now it's 3rd down for Bennett.
I think you're going to have to see Bennett right now spread out that offense, right? Get as many guys out there at the receiver position as you can. Get guys out of the box so that your line can do what they can do to be able to run the ball. But I think you're going to have to spread out a little bit to try to make sure you get some of these Newburgh defenders outside of that box to be successful.
And from Bennett's standpoint, you want to make sure you don't make a mistake down here. Davis back to pass. He's got time. He throws. It's caught by Lewis, and the ball is knocked out. And it'll be Newburgh's ball unless they rule that's incomplete, but I don't think they're going to. And hopefully Lewis is down. He's going to get up a little slowly. Here's the replay. Good throw, good catch, and a great defensive play. Looked like that was Elijah Bevier who knocked the ball loose. And
it looked like when he made the turn, he had the ball out a little bit on his one hand right there, which is why he was able to knock that one out.
And Jason Johnson on the recovery. Here's another look at it. Good throw, good catch. That's actually number 9 stripping the ball. That's number 9, Darrell Jackson. So now 1st and 10 for Newburgh, and we get a whistle, and Bennett takes a timeout. 4:22 to play in the first quarter. You're watching the New York State Class AA Championship game on the NFHS Network. For the Gold Rocks at the Bennett 37-yard line. Davis with a nice throw to Bennett, to Lewis, who made a nice catch, but Newburgh made a great play to strip the ball, recover the fumble, and we'll see how Bennett can respond here. Great field position for the Gold Rocks. And now we got movement along the line of scrimmage, and which way is that going to go?
It's going to go against Newburgh.
That's what I'm thinking, a false start. Yeah, it's a false start against Newburgh.
So, Stu, for those New York fans out there, Giants right now lead 20-13 over Washington. 2:57 left in the fourth. Vikings, though, lead the Jets 20-15 with 12:30 left in the fourth.
I'd be glad to see the Giants win because I know you're a big Giants fan. And as a Bills fan, I would like to see the Jets lose. So New York. Plus, I also would love to see Brian Daboll be the NFL Coach of the Year if it's not Sean McDermott. First and 15, and there's the handoff and a good tackle by Bennett as Tajir Walker couldn't really get on track. A short gain there. It'll be second down. Looks like the ball's back at the 40-yard line, so I guess we'll call that a loss of 3. Oh no, a gain of 2 because of the penalty. So second and 13, Hoover trots back into his team's huddle. Pretty great spot for a sophomore to be in, starting quarterback in a championship state title game. He's had a great season. And there's a play action fake. Hoover rolls right, throws, and it's caught on the far side. And that's a first down. Elijah Bevier on the reception. Here's another look at it.
In traffic, he throws this right here. He finds him in traffic right there. 3 Bennett defenders right around here, and he gets him in traffic.
And now we've got Rashard Perry down on the field, clutching his leg. He's at the 43-yard line, the star Bennett offensive and defensive lineman. And while they tend to Perry, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching the New York State Class AA championship game on the NFHS Network. You see Perry walk off. Looks like he's under his own power. Hopefully he's okay and will be able to return. But it's first and 10 Goldbacks at the 24-yard line of the Bennett Tigers after the big pass completion from Hoover to Bevier. And now we have Jason Johnson running to get off the field. Walker comes back on. Bevier goes off. First and 10 for the Goldbacks. And Johnson, they kind of botched that one. It looked like they wanted to direct snap it, but I'm not sure it got to the right person. It was snapped to Tajir Walker, and that's going to be a false start on Newburgh Free Academy. We're going to take another look at that pass play. Hoover rolling to the right, stops, fires. Well, it's a nice catch, and he beat 3 defenders there. Good throw. Now it's first and 15 from the 29-yard line. Good. Hoover back to pass. He's got time. Throws for that corner. Jump ball knocked down. Great play by Aaron Roseborough to keep DeAndre Johnson from hauling that one in. That's an early play of the game right there. Yeah. It was kind of a jump ball, and the shorter man won out that time.
Roseborough had a great game when he played in the Far West Regional game to be able to remember 2 interceptions in that game, 1 in the end zone and 1 to ice the game right there. Does a great job of keeping his eyes right there on the ball the whole time. And I'll tell you, it makes a great play defensively right there.
2nd and 15. And Hoover once again back to pass. He throws. Intercepted. Picked off. Jaden Lewis picks it off. And it's a turnover. And Lewis, who has the touchdown in the game, makes up for the fumble with an interception. And it's a turnover in favor of Bennett. They'll have it 1st and 10 inside their own 15-yard line.
Last year, that was his specialty, if you remember. 12 interceptions last year, and he took 7 of those back to the house last year as a player. He gets back, and you see him go back, falls back, makes that interception. He just really sees the ball real well and goes and attacks and gets that interception.
So 1st and 10, Bennett at their own 10-yard line. As we get players going in and out of the huddle for Bennett. And we have Bennett taking their 2nd time out of the half. As Coach McDuffie must have seen something he wanted to talk over. And we're going to take another break. It is Bennett 8, Newburgh Free Academy nothing, and you are watching the New York State Class AA championship game on the NFHS Network. First quarter, 3:23 to play, and it's 1st and 10 Bennett at their own 10-yard line. I don't see Rashard Perry back out there yet. Hopefully he will be able to return. Davis takes the shotgun snap, throws near side, caught by Roseboro, and he gets about 7 or 8 yards. Jameer Thomas kind of leading the way there, but he was unable to clear the Newburgh player out of the way. But still, and here comes Perry. But still, and it's still a good gain on 1st down. 2nd and 3 after the 7-yard gain, as you see Perry coming back into the huddle with his teammates. And in the fall, for those of you who follow Syracuse University football, he'll be on the field with the orange. Davis will throw it again. High pass. It's caught and tackled immediately as Lewis, but I think he's got enough for a 1st down. And the chains will move. It's 1st and 10 Bennett. So Bennett now going to the air after their run game had been shut down on the previous drive.
In Western New York, so everybody knows, there's 2 postseason awards they give out. One is called the Conley Cup. One is called the Trench Trophy. Conley Cup is for Player of the Year. Trench Trophy is for your top lineman. We've got 2 members on this Bennett team that we'll talk about that are finalists for that awards.
And here comes a man off the edge, and Davis put it up in the air, and fortunately it was caught, and they're going to say it's incomplete. And that was very dangerous. Someone came in unblocked. I think that was Darrell Jackson. And Antonio Davis III had nowhere to go and somehow got the ball out of his hands, and it was an incomplete pass. Very dangerous and a great play by Darrell Jackson off that edge. He was unblocked. So it's 2nd and 10.
I'm going to tell you right now, Rashad's not 100%. You can see the way he's reacting off the line right now.
Well, you could see even when he walked back onto the field. And here comes Jackson again. And this time Davis will keep it, and he's brought down, and looks like he lost a yard or 2 maybe. So my suggestion is Bennett blocked Darrell Jackson. Look at that. He's got 2 consecutive plays, set a clear path to the quarterback. 3rd and 9, he gained a yard.
So to finish my thought right there, Jaden Lewis is up for the Conley Cup, which is Player of the Year in Western New York, and Rashard Perry is up for the Trench Trophy, also in Western New York.
And Davis, the pump fake, the throw to the far side is incomplete. And it'll be 4th down for Bennett. Pass intended for Lewis. So Bennett will punt it away. A promising drive start that started at their own 5-yard line, and then it stalled out by some good defensive play by the Goldbacks.
This is the part of the game, though, that Coach McDuffie had said from the beginning of the year that we were going to get better at. That was the passing game, and really that's what you see. Because Newburgh's stacking the box, they're making you try to go to the air.
Alessia back to receive. Oh, a terrible punt. Went off the side of his foot, and it'll roll at about the 30 and be picked up. And he lost the ball. Alessia did, but I think he got it back. I don't think anyone got a piece of that. I just think he missed it.
No, I just think it went off the side of his foot, like you said.
And it'll be 1st and 10, and the field position in this game for the second straight drive will be great starting field position for Newburgh. So 1st and 10 at the Bennett 32-yard line.
Absolutely got to capitalize on this, right? They haven't capitalized on it yet. We haven't seen a full sustained drive right now from Newburgh as they're really trying to make their first impact in this game.
Hoover hands it off to Walker, and he's got very little running room and is shoved back. Goodman among those in on the tackle for Bennett.
And who else was there? Take a guess.
Perry.
No, number 14, Cook. He's been huge today on the defensive side.
That's at least his 3rd tackle, the 3rd time.
There was 3 earlier. I think that's his 4th or even 5th one right now.
You're probably right, because you usually are. We're in the final minute of the first quarter, 8-0 Bennett. Jaden Lewis, a 77-yard TD run on the first play from scrimmage for Bennett. 2nd down and 9 for Newburgh. Hoover looks to throw, throws, it's caught, and that's going to be close to a 1st down, and I think it is a 1st down. And we got a little battle for the ball there at the end of the play. Bevier
yards
on
after
the catch.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, he dragged at least 3 players right there to be able to get that 1st down.
Yes, Elijah Bevier on the catch. His game is off to a great start. I think that's at least his 3rd, maybe even his 4th catch. Now it's 1st and 10 here. Newburgh, as we are in the final 12 seconds of the first quarter. Hoover hands it off, coming to the near side and gaining 3 or 4 yards. I don't have a number 21 listed on this roster. How about that? Thought I had everybody. And we're going to go down on the field to Francis Beck as the first quarter has come to a close with Bennett leading 8-0. Jaden Lewis, a 77-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage. So far, that has been all the scoring in the game. And now we're going to go down on the field to Francis Beck.
Yes, Stu and Tom, as you saw, Rashad Perry made it back into the game. I came over Bennett sideline after he came out for that injury. The trainer taped up his right leg, and then they working with a coach sort of on the sled, sort of using his coach as a sled to basically get moving well. Clear as you see, he did. Quick note here. I'm thinking back to Joe Girard III. He was the quarterback for the Glensville football team and team championship that year. Over in this end zone, running around for a touchdown. He went over 100 yards for that one. But who's already committed to Syracuse, hoping to have a similar game here today. Stu, Tom, up to you.
Thank you, Francis. We apologize for any of the technical difficulties that we had on that play. As the second quarter will start with Newburgh having the football, 2nd and 7 at the Bennett 19-yard line. So Newburgh looking to get on the scoreboard here as the teams have switched ends of the field. It's a direct snap to DeAndre Johnson, who's trying to go around the corner and gets knocked out of bounds. Lead blocking there by Darrell Jackson. And I think the chains are moving, so we got a first down.
That was Roseboro on the stop right there for Bennett also.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. So Newburgh with a direct snap to DeAndre Johnson that time. And the Tigers have put themselves in a difficult position for the second time in this game. The Lewis interception held them off in the first one, and the ball's on the turf. It's loose, picked up by Bennett.
Look at the speed. Watch this speed right here.
And there goes Thomas. Jameer Thomas. Touchdown Bennett. No flags on the field. And the Bennett Tigers take a 14-0 lead. What a play. Someone hit the quarterback, Hoover, or the exchange was botched. The ball was on the turf. Thomas picked it up and was off to the races.
We'll
Here's
see
the
right
replay.
here. Yep. And he tries to kick it. Did you see that? And then, boom, that was Hamilton with that hit right there so Thomas could pick that up and take it right to the house. You saw that 4.2 speed right there. Look at nobody even in the pictures, Stu. Right there, as you can see him take off.
His own teammate, Kamari Cook, was the closest player to him. So Bennett with a huge defensive play. And once again, they strike early in the quarter as they rock Newburgh here. And we'll see how the Goldbacks answer. But first, the 2-point conversion try by Bennett. Davis hands it off to Lewis. Not a lot of room to run. Will they be able to push him forward and over the goal line? Yes, they will. And it's 16-0 Bennett. So the Tigers, with a huge offensive play and a huge defensive play, have jumped out to a 16-point lead early in the second quarter.
What a push right there. You can actually see the entire line just push Lewis right over to get that 2-point conversion. This is big right here because, not only is this 2 scores, it's 2 2-point conversions too, which are not easy. Last game we just did, not one team had a 2-point conversion that was done. It's that hard to do. This is big right here for Bennett.
So the Tigers add to their lead. And so far for Bennett, that's the second turnover that Newburgh has committed. Jaden Lewis had an interception and the fumble recovery by Jameer Thomas. As you saw, he can absolutely fly. Xavier Sill and Joe Alicia back to receive the kickoff. And Mr. Everything, Jaden Lewis will kick it off. And right now, Kamari Cook is one of your unsung heroes. And Darrell Hamilton
100%.
on that play.
Hamilton. We already know he's had a fantastic year. He comes off that end position and is tough to stop, especially because you have to double, triple, and we've even seen quadruple team Barry, right?
Yes.
So if you're going to do that, you're leaving him one-on-one, and that's what happens when he gets one-on-one matchups.
And the kickoff is picked up at about the 25-yard line and taken out to about the 31-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Newburgh as the Goldbacks need some offense here. It'll be 1st and 10 for Newburgh.
Quick update coming from the New York teams. We're in overtime now as the Giants and Washington are tied at 20, and then the Jets scored. It's Vikings 27, Jets 22, still 6:18 left in that one.
I looked the other day, and if the Vikings beat the Jets, and as Bills fans, I hope they do, that will give them a clean sweep of the AFC, the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
I didn't see that coming. So it's 1st and 10 for Newburgh. And Hoover, and was that ball on the ground again? And not much going right there for Newburgh. And I think they lost a yard or two on that. Looked like a very broken play. We'll see if we have a replay, get a better idea what happened. The 3-yard loss, so it's 2nd and 13. They did fumble, not necessarily a broken play, but just a clear fumble. 2nd and 13.
You know that when halftime comes, right, one of the things Newburgh's going to be talking about is that exchange right there, because you can't have that on multiple plays, especially almost back-to-back right there, plays when you've come out on offense.
2nd and 13. Hoover back to pass, throws to the near side. It's caught by Walker, who's up. A nice tackle by Roseboro. You know, Roseboro on this team, he's underrated. He's an outstanding football player, both sides of the ball, and he's got a great knack for making big plays. Good tackle there on Tajir Walker.
Well, obviously, and look at the matchup you've seen him one-on-one on the outside with, right? He's had a great matchup right there when you look at with DeAndre Johnson. Here's a Division I, 6'8" receiver out here. Then you've got a matchup and a total mismatch in size, and you're doing it. You're coming up big.
Perry back into the game on 3rd and long. Hoover back to pass. He's going to put it up in the air and intercepted. What a play! Jameer Thomas hauls it in. He jumped up, reached as far as he could, and pulled it down. Wow.
What did you say but wow on that one, right? I mean, you are just seeing how athletic this Bennett team is, right? You've seen Lewis with the interception now. You've seen Jameer Thomas with an interception now. You've already seen him return back a fumble recovery, and he's just that fast to get to the ball.
Look at this athletic play. He leaps up, stretches out his arm, and kind of pulls it in with one hand. 1st and 10, Bennett at their own 48-yard line. That's the 3rd turnover by Newburgh. And Bennett would dearly love to make them pay for this one too. And we get a whistle. And what do we have here? And Bennett has taken a timeout. We'll take a timeout too. 16-0 Bennett, 9:58 to play in the 2nd quarter. You're watching the New York State Class AA championship game on the NFHS network. We're back at the JMA Wireless Dome. 1st and 10 Bennett at their own 48-yard line after the Jameer Thomas interception.
Here's so far what Newburgh has done. Punt, interception, fumble, interception.
That's not a good recipe. Then fortunately, they're only down 16. And they hand it off to Thomas, who tries to spin away from a couple of tacklers, but he's not going to get anywhere. Nothing there, as Newburgh that time was prepared for the run, and they've seen his speed. He looks like he's limping a little bit. Staying on the field, though.
And that was Daryl Jackson, the first one in on a tackle there for Newburgh.
Now it's 2nd down, 2nd and 10. They'll fake the handoff, and Davis is in trouble, and it's knocked down.
He's limping. Jameer Thomas just went off the field limping.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw him limping, and I didn't. He stayed in for the play, but now he's on the sideline.
No, he's coming back out, but he actually was limping like through as he was running through right there.
So now Davis goes over to have a little, perhaps, word with Coach McDuffie. And there's Antonio Davis III. Coach McDuffie, a word of encouragement, and sends him back out there for a 3rd down and 10 play. And Bennett would like to take advantage of that latest turnover. Lewis coming to the near side at the bottom of your screen, along with Dominic Howard. Antonio Davis III takes the shotgun snap. And he's going to put the ball down and run. He'll get the 1st down and slide. And it's a 1st down Bennett. Good and smart play there by Davis to keep the drive moving along. But what a difference for Antonio Davis III. You remember him as a sophomore and how far he's come now as a senior?
Oh, no doubt. In fact, we were talking about that. He's going to be up with some of the postseason awards because of how far he's come. And give Coach McDuffie credit, because he said this is what we were going to make a priority this year. This is what we were going to work on in the offseason, and they've done exactly that, and he's been the guy to lead the way for that passing game.
Davis back to pass, throws near side, caught by Lewis, and he's going to go down the sideline and shoved out of bounds. Touchdown, but there's a flag on the play. I thought he got shoved out of bounds. Nice catch.
This is weird. It was a one-on-one matchup out here, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, is it some sort of offensive pass interference? I mean, I don't know where it would have come in.
There was nobody out there that you could see. And he did a great job of tight-roping that sideline. I really thought he was going to be knocked out of bounds. Newburgh thinks it's against Bennett.
Well, Newburgh, he was right there as they were talking, so I am sure that this is. But it just, where is it coming from, obviously is what's going to be. You can see now that you're looking at where the flag is. Was it something that happened on the line?
Oh, so Lewis went out of bounds and came back in? That's really unfortunate. He made a great play, did a great job tight-roping that sideline. And unfortunately, he apparently stepped out of bounds. And the touch.
Even when we saw the replay, it did, I mean.
I didn't see it. But then again, I wasn't looking there either. I was looking more for a penalty. Second and 15 now for Bennett. Ball at the Newburgh 46-yard line. And they'll hand it off to the first man through. And Hamilton on the carry. Darrell Hamilton, he's a 260-pound fullback and defensive lineman.
And I'll tell you, he's been key because we've also seen him block in there, right? And he's been able to help that passing game with Davis. He's also a big fullback. And when you got him running through to lead the way for Jameer Thomas or Lewis or anybody else that's running the ball out there, he really becomes pivotal to the running game.
So now it's 3rd and 8 for Bennett. Davis back to pass. He throws far side, almost intercepted. Bevier almost picked it off. And if he did, he had nothing but green turf in front of him on the far side, intended for Thomas, and it falls incomplete to bring up 4th down. That was really
the replay
close.
on there. You could see it. Yeah, he obviously read it. It was just open a little bit too long right there. You can see he stops, right, and then he reads it very, very well. Like you said, that was a touchdown if he goes ahead and catches that.
So Alicia back deep to receive the punt from Jaden Lewis. That's a much better punt than the last one. Alicia will catch it at about the 5. It'll beat the first man, but not the, well, he did beat a couple of players, and he's finally brought down at about the 10-yard line. So he did a nice job of making a couple of guys miss. But fortunately for Bennett, they had enough players around him who were able to bring him down.
I wouldn't even say miss. He broke those tackles. He really did, right?
Yes.
I mean, he at least broke 3 of those tackles before Bennett was able to take him down.
So 1st and 10, Newburgh at their own 9-yard line. A lot of things have gone Bennett's way, including field position, although Newburgh has had good field position, but Bennett has been able to answer the bell so far every time. And now you have DeAndre Johnson and Aaron Roseborough at the bottom of your screen as Hoover awaits the shotgun snap. And he will hand that one off, and there's no room to run there as Walker is shoved back.
Guan was the first one in there. Perry helps out to finish that one off, but you could just see the penetration by those guys on that line. Great penetration for the stop for no gain.
2nd and 10 from the 9-yard line. And there's another player, Guan, you don't hear that much about, but he's consistently making plays for this team. There's just talent all over the place. Well, you could say that about both teams, obviously.
Well, I mean, we talked about it, especially coming from Section 6. This is one of the top lines that are coming from out of that area, and they're showing you exactly why today.
And the ball hit the turf, and Hoover's brought down inside the 5.
So I don't know. Looks like it was Guan again.
I think so. Well, here's the replay. See if the ball, looked like the ball actually hit the turf. And it did. It was a low snap. Hamilton was in on that one.
But look at the penetration, right?
Yes.
You had Hamilton back there. You had Guan back there. You had Perry back there. That's the penetration right now they're giving. They're not even giving them time to run the ball or throw the ball.
3rd and 16 now.
And now you're in a throwing down right here inside your own end zone.
At the 3-yard line. Hoover will hand that one off. And no room to run there as Bennett will hold firm. It'll be 4th down. Nowhere for Walker to go.
Guam, Hamilton, right, Land, all those 3 in on that tackle. You would think, boy, if I'm Bennett, I may try to go after this right here.
I was just thinking, Thomas and Roseboro back deep to return the punt. DeAndre Johnson will punt. Snap is a little high, but he'll get the kick away, end over end. It'll bounce at about the 40-yard line, and then it'll roll back, and Alicia will fall on it at the Newburgh 38-yard line, where the Tigers will have it 1st and 10. So far, Bennett really couldn't ask for a much better start to this game.
Especially defensively when you think about this, right? Like we just talked about it. What was it? Punt, interception, fumble, interception, punt.
Yes.
That's defense right there.
Yes, it is.
That's your defense stepping up right there.
So here come the Tigers to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 at the Newburgh 38-yard line. And there's the handoff to McDuffie. Breaks a couple of tackles and gets about 7 or 8 yards. That's a great run. He made a couple of real nice moves and made a couple of players miss. Nicely done there by Noah McDuffie.
You'll see, folks, this Bennett team, they'll rush 6 different people they'll see in the game. You will hear about 6 different guys that will rush the ball during this game. You've already seen it, right? Thomas has, Lewis has, McDuffie has already. Oh, and Hamilton has. So 4 guys have already rushed the ball for this Bennett team, and we're not even through the second quarter.
2nd and 5. And Lewis takes the direct snap. Jaden Lewis spins away from a couple of tacklers and gets the 1st down. Spinning, twisting, what a great run there for maybe 7 yards, but it's a 1st down on the direct snap to Jaden Lewis. And will be another 1st down for the Tigers.
Give you another quick update. Giants, Washington tied at 20-20 still with 3:04 left in overtime. Vikings, Jets 27-22 in that one still. 1:50 left in the game. 4th and goal at the Minnesota 1 for the Jets though.
Davis back to pass. He throws deep down the middle, incomplete. Intended for Roseboro. Davis was under big time pressure there from the top of your screen. And maybe that pressure affected the throw a little bit, but it's an incomplete pass. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10 from the 25 for the Tigers.
So we just found out that 4th and 1 was incomplete for the Jets. So the Vikings have the ball on their own 1-yard line.
No guarantees. That's a very dangerous area.
Yeah. Well, the Vikings would know that already, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we don't know the situation at timeouts, but hopefully the Vikings can hang on, sweep the AFC East, and help out the Bills. I know the New York fans in our audience probably don't want to hear that. Here's Davis back to pass. DeAndre Johnson, and that one's overthrown. And once I think Johnson put the pressure on the quarterback, it was intended for Lewis. He had to throw it up high and over Johnson, who came from his, looked like the defensive end position, and put pressure on the quarterback.
That's where he's playing, and you got to think that's got to be over a 7-foot wingspan right there that he's got that you got to get up and go over. You don't see much of that in high school football.
No, you do not. So it's 3rd and 10 for the Tigers. And they've got Johnson, and now he's going to drop back and not rush the quarterback. Davis puts it up in the air. Touchdown! Jameer Thomas hauls it in for the Bennett touchdown.
Did he not look like he kicked a 2nd gear in there?
Yes.
To go catch that. He looked like he gave a little bit extra just to go get that ball.
That's a great catch. He had to reach out and caught it as he fell down and rolled over in the end zone. Touchdown Bennett, make it 22-0 for the Tigers.
And remember, another 2-point conversion. I'm going to tell you, another 2-point conversion is going to make this very difficult right here for Newburgh, because you're going to now have to come down, not only score, but convert every single one of these.
Every play matters, and these are the kind of things that really do matter. And he hands it off to Jaden Lewis, and Lewis is into the end zone for the 2-point conversion, and it's 24-0 Bennett with 4:29 to play left in the first half. What a great drive by the Tigers. Great throw and catch on that Thomas touchdown. And here's another look at it. You can hear the buzz in the crowd.
Remember we talked about Hamilton? Look at that. Guarding the whole way. You see how much time that line gave him right there? He still had at least another 3-4 seconds right there to throw that ball.
And if any one of those players had broken through the three that were protecting him, Hamilton would have been there.
Absolutely. It just shows how strong that offensive line does and what they provide to this Bennett team.
You know, it wasn't just the players who wanted to get back here and prove something. It was Coach McDuffie, too. And so far, he's really showing how important it was to him and what a job he's done so far.
And you know what? If it was you or I were coach, we'd be saying the same thing, right?
Yes.
Of course, you set your sights that your goal was to get back here, right? We need to fix some things. We need to get better at some things. He said, I did a pregame season interview with him, and he came right out and said, we got to pass. We got to get better here. We got to do this to get back to that state championship run.
And off the kickoff, it's taken back by Bryce Buxton to about the 34-yard line, where the Goldbacks will have it, 1st and 10.
I'll never forget, too, we didn't know about Jameer Thomas yet, of course, coming into the season. And he goes, we got another guy. And he's about to tell me who it is. He goes, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. He runs a 4.2, right? You'll see who he is when he comes out, right? And the first time I see Thomas just go darting down the sideline, I go, yep, I know who he's talking about now. But, boy, I'll tell you, right now, this Bennett team just shows how strong they really are. And, that they're on a mission right now. Newburgh's got to do something and score here.
It's a direct handoff to DeAndre Johnson, and he'll gain about maybe 4 yards. That time, Hoover, the usual quarterback, was split out wide to the near side and bring up 2nd down.
Looks like that was Goodman on the tackle right there for Bennett, number 50.
Great story in the Buffalo News about Goodman and his relationship with Coach McDuffie. He was apparently in a very dark or uncomfortable spot and relied on his coach to help bring him out of it. Looks like another direct snap. It is to Goodman, and he's going to try and turn the corner, and Jaden Lewis won't let him turn the corner. He shoves him out of bounds, bring up a 3rd down.
You can just see, too, right now how the Bennett team is swarming to the ball, right? It's not just one guy you're seeing at the tackle. There's normally 2 or 3 guys. If there's going to be a miss or you're going to break one, there are 2-3 guys right there waiting to make that tackle.
3rd down and 5 from the 39-yard line. June Rivas into the game, and here comes Hoover into the Newburgh huddle. DeAndre Johnson split wide at the bottom of the screen. Roseboro looks like he has him. Here's Hoover, back to pass. Hamilton got him, and the ball's out. And it looks like Bennett has the football. And
Comes up on it is Jazeer Flukers, who comes up with it.
And Bennett forces another turnover. And that was Darrell Hamilton who hammered Hoover on that one. So that should be, if we have this correct, it's 1st and 10 Bennett. Here's another look at it. Hoover gets the snap. And Darrell Hamilton gets him, and the ball is recovered
By Fluker.
by Fluker,
Fluker.
And now we get a timeout taken by Newburgh. Jazeer Fluker. What a play by Darrell Hamilton. What a game he's having.
I said to you, when you got to worry about Perry on the inside and you got to worry about double teaming him, right? And then we've seen Guam already have a big day. You're worried about double teaming. You're worried about right now those tackles and the penetration. They come right up the A gap. You're going to have a one-on-one matchup, and Hamilton shows you what will happen when you try to play him one-on-one.
So in the Newburgh timeout, we'll see how Newburgh plays this, and Bennett can, with another touchdown here, there's 3:35 to play here in the second quarter. Another touchdown here just might make it too big a hill to climb for Newburgh. This is as close to a must-stop as you're ever going to see.
Give you some scoring updates. The Jets do have the ball back, 23 seconds on the Minnesota 19-yard line. And then we've got still a tie game with the Giants and Washington, 20-20 with 1:36 left. But Washington is at their own 2-yard line.
And the Jets had their pass picked off, so Minnesota sweeps the AFC East. I would have never expected that. 1st and 10 for Bennett. Davis back to pass. He throws deep over the middle for Lewis. Touchdown Bennett. Jaden Lewis hauls it in. Bennett going for it on 1st down, and they get it. It's 30-0 Bennett.
Wow.
What a throw, what a catch. Beautifully done by Davis and Lewis. Wow, this Bennett offense has exploded, and the defense has been dominant.
Unbelievable, really is.
I mean, on first, they must have seen something, because on 1st down, they went right for the jugular. And they, they've been doing it.
There's a reason why Lewis is going to go play Division I football. You've seen it today. He's done it offense, defense. He's done everything.
And Lewis did he sneak in there? No, I don't think he got that 2-point conversion. No, it's no good. That's the first time that Newburgh stopped him on the 2-point conversion. 3:32 to go in the first half. It's Bennett 30, Newburgh nothing, as we see the Bennett cheerleaders. That is right now a very, very happy group. And, I always want to qualify that, Tom, because there's still more than a whole half to play. And you and I saw a game the other night between St. Anthony's and St. Francis out of Western New York. It was 22-0. Or was it 21 or 20?
20-0.
20-0 St. Francis at halftime, and St. Anthony's came back and won the game. So we're not gonna hand anybody anything yet. Nobody wins a game in the first half. Bennett will kick off again, and Newburgh is essentially one big play from getting back into this thing. Although it is a big hill to climb at 30-0. I don't think anyone saw this coming. I certainly didn't.
No, but again, I mean, nobody thinks anything like this is going to happen at a state championship, right?
Yeah.
So, but listen, we saw 2 games yesterday that were very, very lopsided yesterday, right? And you've got a team right now that's on a mission that wants to prove that they deserve to be here. And listen, I've been watching them all year. They don't let up on the gas. You're going to see they'll keep playing until they 100% know that it's going to be a win.
Lewis will kick it off, and it'll bounce. It'll be taken by... Oh, the ball's out again on the return. Bryce Buxton got hit. The ball came out. And I think that time the ball stayed with Newburgh. And the Goldbacks recover that one. Very close. Again, the ball came out. Here's a replay on that. Excuse me, that was Alicia on the return. And when he got tackled, the ball came out. But that time, Newburgh was able to recover the football. Newburgh with a 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line. The Goldbacks looking to get any kind of offense going here. And my guess, Tom, would be they'll start looking for DeAndre Johnson more and more often. They'll throw it deep down the far sideline, incomplete.
You got Lewis right there, too.
Yeah,
right?
Yes,
Lewis right there. He makes another interception right there, and boy, you just really want to just say is, it shows how good this kid really is. And he will be up for Player of the Year. There's no doubt about it. He's that good of a football player. He's that good of an athlete, right? He really is. He is the total package when it comes to playing football.
And he will be at the University of Buffalo in the fall. Bevier, the intended receiver on that one, and now it's 2nd and 10 for Newburgh. Hoover takes the snap, back to pass. He throws over the middle, incomplete. Almost. Well, that was a very dangerous area for that ball to go in on the incomplete pass, but
Goodman was right there. He's the one who had a hand, just missed getting a hand on that ball as it was thrown. But you could just see they're expecting the pass right now, and you've got guys all over the place when you're talking about Roseboro, Thomas, Lewis, right? I mean, they're all over the place out there. Oh, we still forgot about McDuffie, who's also another very good player, and Damari Clemens also out there.
Don't forget Aaron Roseboro.
Yeah, well, Roseboro absolutely is proving it over and over again.
So 3rd down here for Newburgh, 3rd and 10 after the 2 incomplete passes. Here's Hoover, looks to pass. He's under pressure. He's going to run. He's still got room, and he's tackled. He gets the first down. He's tackled at the Newburgh 45-yard line. That may be just the 3rd first down of the half unofficially. Maybe they have 4 or 5, but not too many. Big run there by Hoover to get it out to the 45-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for Newburgh.
You could almost say that was a coverage run, right? Obviously, there was nobody open for him to throw to, which is why he ran the ball right there and was so effective because the coverage was so good by Bennett.
Hoover takes the snap, back to pass, rolls to the right, puts it up in the air and throws it away. He threw it out of bounds because he was being chased. I believe that was our man Darrell Hamilton, and he's limping off. Hoover got hit and not walking quite 100%, and he goes to the sidelines there. Another big play by Hamilton, putting the pressure on the quarterback. And let's see if Hoover's able to continue in the game. He's coming back out. Looks much better now than he did when he kind of walked off. This will be 2nd and 10 from the 45 for Newburgh. 2:42 to play in the first half. 30-0 Bennett. And play action. Here's Hoover. He throws, and somehow it was caught by Bevier. 2 players collided. He caught it. And let's see where they spot that. That might be enough for another first down if they give him forward progress.
In traffic right there is how he catches this one. Let's take a look at this one again. Rolls out, gives himself some time, really throws it up, and he comes down with the catch. That's a big catch right there for Newburgh. And I'll tell you another reason why. There's still 2 minutes left here. You don't get that first down and have to go ahead and kick it off. There's a chance that Bennett tries to score again.
1st and 10. Here's Hoover, back to pass, chase to the right, and he throws that one away smartly. He'll be 2nd and 10 as Hoover likes to, that pressure forces him to roll to the right. Bevier with that great catch. Noah McDuffie thought it was incomplete because he was one of the players who collided with him, and I think he was surprised that he could actually hang on to that one. So 2nd and 10 now from the 44-yard line.
And Hamilton in again on that. Just the penetration they're getting. You could just see is how strong this defensive line really is.
Second and 10 from the Bennett 44 for Newburgh. 3 wide receivers to the near side, 1 at the top of your screen. Hoover back to pass. He throws deep down the far sideline, incomplete. It was intended for June Rivas, and they got a big break because Damari Clemens had fallen down, but the pass could not connect, and it'll bring up 3rd and 10 as Hoover tried to go deep that time. 3rd down and 10 for the Goldbacks. And Hoover comes back into his team's huddle. And you'll see DeAndre Thomas go toward the top of your screen, and Aaron Roseboro will go in the same direction. Hoover, and we got a whistle. Let's see.
I think it's going to go offsides on the defense.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, you're right. Encroachment on Bennett, and that'll make it 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 10. So at this point, for Newburgh, every little bit helps. It's one of the few mistakes Bennett has made in this game. You go back early, I think Davis did throw one interception, but...
No, it was the fumble by Lewis.
Oh, right. It was a fumble by Jaden Lewis. So 3rd and 5 now for the Goldbacks. Hoover back to pass, throws, caught, and Rivas has it. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 30. That'll be a first down. June Rivas. That'll move the change for Newburgh. Hoover standing in there, making the throw. And Damari Clemens on that tackle. 1st and 10 now from the 28-yard line of Bennett. Tajir Walker in the backfield along with Hoover. Hoover back to pass. He throws. Caught on the near side by Johnson. Oh, and he's blasted. What a hit by Goodman inside the 20. He said, "Welcome to the JMA Wireless Dome" there.
Yeah, he went up in the air, and Goodman was just waiting for him right there as he went up in the air.
Well, that wasn't Goodman, excuse me.
No, that was Goodman, number 50.
No, it was Jashawn Thomas on the reception.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was my fault.
Goodman was on the tackle is who it was.
Yes. Now Hoover back to pass. Decides to run. He throws to the far side. It's caught by Walker. Walker inside the 10. There's a flag. He's tackled inside the 5.
It's going to be a hold right there. It's going to be a hold right where the flag is, so that's going to come back from where that flag was thrown.
So he'll take him back to about the 15-yard line. That's a nice play by Hoover to get rid of the ball there. And a good run by Tajir Walker. Unfortunately for him, the penalty will wipe that out. Well, it looks like the ball right there spotted at the 6-yard line. So we'll take it back to the 16. As the officials are still figuring this all out. And let's get the word.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard foul. Replay first down.
So they'll get first down again. It's a 10-yard penalty against Newburgh, and that should back them up. Let's see where they spot it. They'll spot it at the 17-yard line, but it'll still be first down. They'll call it 1st and 9. 1st and 9 for the Goldbacks. It would be huge for Newburgh to get into the end zone here. And here's Hoover rolling to the right. He throws, and it's caught and tackled inside the 5 is Bevier, brought down by Noah McDuffie. So it'll be 1st and goal now, as we'll have another look at that one. Hoover rolling to the right. Bevier puts his hand up, makes the catch, and McDuffie makes the tackle. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line as we're in the final minute of the first half. This is Newburgh's best drive of the game. They'll hand it off to Walker. He'll spin away and into the end zone for the touchdown. Nice run there by Tajir Walker to make it 30-6. No flags on the play, so the touchdown stands.
Nice spin move. Watch this. You can see he hits the line, spins, finds himself, and then gets right in that end zone. Good run right there. Newburgh finally gets on the board right here. You know they did not want to go into halftime with nothing up on the board, something to at least try to build off into the second half.
And it looks like Hoover's in, so they're going to go for 2. And as you have mentioned before, how big are all these 2-point conversions? If you watched the last game, you had a really good example of how good they can be, how important. And right into the end zone, up the middle is Walker. and it's a 30-8 game as Newburgh converts. So that's far and away the best drive of the day for Newburgh. It looks like they just got finally completely untracked.
Yeah, nice rollouts. I mean, there was some great passing right there, and really the passing was in traffic too. It wasn't like it was guys that were wide open. He made great throws inside traffic right there.
And he had a few really nice catches too.
Absolutely.
And they survived a big hit. Goodman with that huge hit. That was a nice catch by Jashawn Thomas on that one. So we have 38 seconds remaining in the first half. Newburgh will kick it off.
I wonder if Bennett just takes a knee right here, you know what I mean, and and kind of just goes into halftime and says, hey, listen, let's go into halftime. Let's talk about that, right? Let's see what we did well. What do we want to get and improve on a little bit more? And you wonder if that's exactly how it's going to go right here. But we'll see. It also depends on our return and how far they can actually return.
Lewis Tuhada will kick it off. Lewis and Roseboro are deep for Bennett. And they will bounce that kickoff, and it's the ball's out. Who's got it? Bennett has it. Adam Nunez got a hand on it, knocked it down, and then he's hanging on to that thing like it's gold. And it is gold when you're playing football. That ball is gold. He knocked it down with his hand.
No pun there?
You see, he got a hand on it, then he just fell on it, and they fell on top of him. It'll be 1st and 10 Bennett at their own 46-yard line.
I got to be honest with you, this is really good field
Yes,
position.
it is.
I am not going to be surprised to see if Bennett tries to do something right here.
Well, Newburgh has 2 timeouts left, should they want to use them. And they will just take a knee, Bennett will, as Antonio Davis III will drop to one knee, and we'll see if Newburgh is going to take either one of those timeouts. It does not look like they will. And that will bring the first half to a close, and what a great half for the Bennett Tigers, leading 30-8. I want to remind everybody that Tim Chifa will be joining us in the second half. Tom is on his way to son Luke's Orchard Park football banquet. Congratulations. I know Luke is winning a whole bunch of awards.
We'll see.
Yeah, he's winning something. He's winning, so congratulations to you, Dad. And I think we're going to go down on the field to...
They're going to try to get right now Coach McDuffie. He's talking to his coaches right now. So the minute they're going to come back, we'll see if they come back with Coach McDuffie.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. It's 30-8 at halftime. Bennett leads Newburgh. You're watching the New York State Class AA Championship game on the NFHS Network. Let's go down on the field to Francis Beck with Coach McDuffie. All right, we're going to take a commercial here at halftime. Bennett 30, Newburgh 8. You're watching the New York State Class AA Championship game on the NFHS Network.
tell you, Stu, both these teams, they have the skill players all over the field.
Yes.
You know, Newburgh, they have a quarterback that threw over for 2,000 yards this year, a receiver who's 6'8" going to Rutgers, and we talked about the Bennett skill positions, but it just shows when you dominate the trenches what could happen on the field. And Bennett has been on both sides of the ball, absolutely dominant in the trenches, and they've been controlling the game that way, and that's why you see it on the scoreboard.
Well, between Richard Perry and Darrell Hamilton
Yeah.
and Xavier Goodman, Bennett
just-
has done a great job.
Right, it's pick your poison. I know Tom mentioned if you're going to double Perry,
Good
good luck. And I mean, did you Perry's block on the opening touchdown?
Well.
It was it was 12 yards downfield. How would you like to be that defensive tackle on your first play of the game in a state championship that went backwards 10 yards? That's a tough first play, but yeah, and like I said, there are skill positions everywhere, but the trenches are so important, and that is what's truly showing in this game so far.
Well, I would also like to say that Jaden Lewis, headed to the University of Buffalo in the fall, is clearly the best player on the field so far in this game. He has been outstanding.
Well, and we talked about in the pregame show that he's actually listed as a receiver. However, the first play of the game, he's at running back and takes it 80 yards for a touchdown. So, Coach McDuffie, and you got to give credit to Cliff Scott, too, who's the offensive coordinator, someone we're familiar with, who was a UB quarterback. You know, so they have done what they have to do to get Lewis the ball in spaces everywhere.
And so far, they've been able to do that. We're going to take a break. Halftime at the Class AA New York State Championship game. Bennett 30, Newburgh 8. You're watching the NFHS Network. Sorry, Tim. So I'm going to take a break.
All getting up to $50,000 paid off for student loans after you graduate.
That was a great drive because there was nothing open, really. They just made plays. I think at this point, when it's 30-8, you know, you're not out of it you're not out of it, but you do have to start to have that conversation where, you know, guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You know, we have to, you know, have fun, leave it all on the field. You know, so you have to prepare yourself that this game could get out of hand. The first 5 minutes are probably going to determine if the game's out of hand or not. If you do get the ball first. So if you can come around and score, you make it 30-16, you are right back in it. However, that's so much easier said than done.
Well, yes, that is true, but it's so, and this is why they deferred. They were hoping for the double whammy, the touchdown toward the end of the first half, and hopefully from their standpoint, a touchdown to start the second half. But what they didn't anticipate was being down 30-0 when they wanted to get those two touchdowns. And to their credit, Bennett has been outstanding on both sides of the football.
Yeah, and still, I knew Newburgh came out. They were out of syncs a little bit right from the start. Obviously, the first play we talked about was about a 75-yard touchdown. But then their first play, they lined up the big receiver at quarterback, and they had a delay of game. So they were kind of all out of syncs right from the get-go. And that could be nerves. That could be a little bit of everything, obviously. But it also shows that Bennett was here last year, and they were prepared to get right from the jump, and they wanted to get out on top of them. And the way that Bennett plays, now they are throwing the ball a lot today, and that is kind of a little bit uncharacteristic because they like to dominate on the ground, and it is so important for their offense to get a big lead. But I think you guys mentioned also that Newburgh was putting 7-8 guys in the box, and they're kind of daring Bennett to throw, and I think Bennett took the bait, and it actually worked pretty well a few times.
Well, and part of that is the growth and the maturity of Antonio Davis III, who has been starting at least since he was a sophomore, and he has turned into an outstanding quarterback for the Tigers. And also, Jameer Thomas, outstanding. Jaden Lewis, outstanding. Aaron Roseborough broke up a pass play in the end zone for DeAndre Johnson. Roseborough, to me, is one of those guys who's, there's so many stars on this team, and they've got a number of, look at Darrell Hamilton in the game he's having so far. So, on the flip side, Newburgh, so far, their star players have been unable to showcase their talents in the same way. They've been badly hurt by the 4 turnovers.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that the few deep chances that they took, it wasn't to Johnson.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
If you're going to try to throw it up to someone, throw it to someone who's 6'8", right? That's what I would try, and I would probably see that. I think we'll see that a few times in the second half.
I think so too. I definitely think we will see that. Let's see if we have corrected any of our technical difficulties. All right, no. So we're going to take a break right now. It's 30-8, Bennett leading Newburgh as we get set for the start of the second half. You're watching the New York State Class AA Championship game on the NFHS Network.
he lined up in the neutral zone, it looked like.
Yeah, it's encroachment against Bennett, so instead of 3rd and 8, it'll be 3rd and 3. And I guess, Tim, my question for you is it
Yeah,
it's
I
all
think
it's
it
fourth
is.
down. It's
Yeah, I
fourth
think
down territory all over the field now for Newburgh.
Yeah,
That's a big penalty too.
I think anything outside of your 30, you're probably in 4-down territory at this point of the game.
So now it's 3rd and 3 from the 48 of Newburgh. And here's Hoover, throws, it's caught, and that's another first down. That one's caught by Jashawn Thomas. Nice play by their Hoover, kind of like I guess you might call that a quick hitter.
Yeah.
And if Newburgh can go right down the field and score, we've got a game, a much closer game. And as I said, it'll put some pressure on Bennett. And the clock is also going to become a factor pretty soon. They'll hand it off to Walker, and he gets maybe 3 yards before he's stopped.
I love the battle going on with Rosenborough and Johnson so far. Now, what a challenge for Rosenborough, you know, to face, look across at a 6'8" Division I receiver, but he's holding his own. He really is, and he's not getting a ton of help. He is basically taking this challenge one-on-one. Now, they're playing 2 deep safeties, so he's got some help from, over the top, but he is right. He is giving him no room. He's getting right up on him. He's giving a little room right on this play, but most of the time he's right up on him.
Hoover to pass. He throws near side, incomplete, out of bounds, intended for Bevier. And it'll bring up 3rd down. And so far, on this drive, Newburgh's done a great job on 3rd down. And as we mentioned, this is 4-down territory anyway. Clock stops with 8:28 to play here.
I just think at some point, so you have to start trying to force the ball to Johnson a little bit. Let him go up and get it, make a play.
I was wondering about that in the first half. They tried once in the end zone, but Roseboro made the play. And also, I would think you'd want to. Well, here's Hoover one more time. He throws to the near side, incomplete, out of bounds. And Newburgh wanted the flag for pass interference. I'm not sure he could have caught that anyway.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have a Newburgh player down on the turf.
I think he's cramping up. It looks like they're trying to his teammates trying to stretch it out for him. But so you have a 6'8" receiver, and Jaden Lewis is not on him. You would think that would be your go-to guy because you want to stay away from Jaden Lewis. He had 7 interceptions for touchdowns last year. I'm sure Newburgh knows that. So if you have not quote-unquote the best quarterback for Bennett on your number 1 receiver, I don't understand not having at least 6 or 7 targets already. I mean, it's a little confusing to me, especially at that size. You think you could get 5-6 yarders all night long.
Well, the other flip side of that is who do you go to when you're down? You would think it would be him.
Absolutely.
But they have not yet made that decision, and now the Newburgh player, it is Hoover, the quarterback. He gets up, and it'll be 4th down. And then we got is that another player down? Stretching out there and slowly standing up.
Yeah, it looked like 59 was getting a cramp too.
It was number 59. That is Christian Bertrand.
But however, the quarterback has to come out for a play here still. So it's 4th and 7. The quarterback was the one that was cramped up. So I wonder what they're going to do here.
Well, they've had DeAndre Johnson take a couple of direct snaps, and I'm guessing he's a pretty good passer too. So here we go, 4th and 7 from the Bennett 42. DeAndre Johnson will roll to the near side. He'll throw deep toward the end zone. It's out of bounds, incomplete. And that was, I don't think the ball came out of his hands the way he wanted to because that ball was spinning instead of spiraling.
Yeah, that was a tough pass. I think the coaching staff wanted him to try and run it for the 7 yards. But nonetheless, Bennett holds serve, and they will take over here on downs.
That is a huge stop for Bennett now, and the Tigers have the opportunity to add to their lead and answer the Newburgh touchdown. So we'll see what Bennett does here. Do you want to pound it on the ground, or are you going to keep going through the air to? They've got options, I guess it'd be fair to say. Now Davis goes under center. And he'll hand it off to Darrell Hamilton. And he lost the football. Picked up by Bennett. And a big break for the Tigers there.
Sometimes just you're nice, too.
Yeah.
And sometimes when the bounces are going your way like that right there.
Yes.
Newburgh just kind of puts their hands up like this might not be our night.
Well, Hamilton gets spun around. The ball comes out, and it's very alertly picked up by Antonio Davis III. Davis III making an outstanding play. 2nd down and 3. After all that, a gain of 7. And when that happens and you gain 7 yards,
exactly.
it does look like your day. And will Bennett continue to keep it on the ground here? Davis under center one more time. They want to kill some clock here, I would think. He'll hand that off to Lewis. He barrels forward, and he comes out of there with the first down. What a great run. That's what happens when you keep your feet moving.
Yes.
That's a great run.
That was a great run, and generally a run like that's going to be the line of scrimmage. That particular one was all Lewis by himself. He just kept his legs going, like you said. And I think some of the Newburgh players thought he was down, but he kept on going to get the first down. So another great job by the Bennett All-Stars.
Stu Boyer and Tim Chifa. Tom Prince is headed home to his son Luke's Orchard Park football banquet. Congratulations to Luke, Tom, and the entire family. And there's a handoff to Jaden Lewis. And without much running room, he still got 5 yards.
It's really, for Newburgh, it's defensively, it's pick your poison.
Yeah.
What are you going to do against Bennett? Because right now, they have one-on-one coverage for someone that runs a 4.2 40. So good luck. I mean, if that's what you want to do, because so we'll better take their shot with that, or it's just in the backfield the whole time, and you have guys like Lewis, and it's just like, how do you stop this team when they aren't firing all cylinders? They're really hard to stop.
And now Bennett wanting to use up some clock, and so far on this drive, it's been all on the ground. They hand that one off to Thomas, and he's not going to get much, if anything, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. But Bennett has chewed up a couple of minutes on the clock here, and someone is slow to get up. Looks like that's Thomas. He's going to head to is he going to head to the bench? In the first half, he headed to the bench briefly. Yeah. And, he's going to head over to the bench. Roseborough will come in to take his spot.
Now, Bennett also did have a little scare early with Perry. Perry turned his ankle, and that was still when the game was, really close early, but nice to see him back. I'm sure the Bennett faithful are very happy about that.
3rd and 6, and once again, Antonio Davis III under center. He'll hand it off to Jaden Lewis, runs into a couple of players, comes back to the near side. He's got some room to run. Jaden Lewis will go all the way for the Bennett touchdown. My goodness, Jaden Lewis putting on a show here at the JMA Wireless Dome.
Look at this, bounce to the right, off one guy, off another guy, off a third guy, all the way to the left, and good night. That is why he is the most spectacular player in Western New York this year.
And look
there.
And look who escorted him all the way down the field as quarterback. Antonio Davis III. Wow. Jaden Lewis just putting on a show. I mean, he made one mistake early in the game. It was a fumble. It was a great play by Newburgh. But now it's 36-8 as Bennett stops Newburgh on 4th down, drives down the field. They didn't throw one pass. That was all on the ground, which meant the clock kept moving.
Yep.
And now they'll try to make it a 30-point game one more time on this 2-point conversion try. And Davis trying to get in on the act here. Can he sneak it into the corner of the end zone? And no, he can't quite get in there. Great effort, but he couldn't turn the corner as Newburgh holds there. It's 36-8 Newburgh. And if you're the Newburgh coach, you need a master's degree in psychology to keep your players from being so discouraged. They need something to make something really good happen.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, this is a team that's won 10 straight games, so it's not like Bennett is rolling some team that only gets 4 or 5 wins a game, or 4 or 5 wins a year. This is a team that has won 10 straight. 2 weeks ago, they beat the defending state champion Carmel, who beat Bennett last year. So this is a team that was firing on all cylinders, and they ran into a Bennett team that just has something to prove. They've had some adversity earlier in the year, obviously with the 4 forfeits we talked about earlier in the broadcast. But They lost in this game last year, and I guarantee they have had this game circled since the beginning of summer.
Xavier Sill and Joe Alicia back deep to return the Jaden Lewis kickoff. 5:20 to go in the third quarter. Lewis, the kick is short. It'll bounce. And it's picked up by Alicia, and he's got some room to run. He's out close to the 40 before he's finally brought down. And it'll be 1st and 10, Newburgh. So it's good field position for the Gold Rocks to start this drive.
Trying to see if the quarterback is coming back out. He was not out on the 4th down play.
Oh, Mason Hoover, let's see. So far, I don't see him.
He's standing right next to the coach. I don't know if he's waiting to get the play or he is just not coming out.
It doesn't, well.
Right, now he's getting the play. Okay.
He's coming out.
Glad to see he's okay, first and foremost.
Me too, yes, no doubt. So Mason Hoover heads back to the huddle. It'll be 1st and 10, Newburgh. Their own 38-yard line. And here's Hoover looking to pass, and he's sacked. Perry among those who got him. That had to hurt. And it's a sack, and now Hoover trying to stretch out that leg.
Yeah, it looks like he's starting to cramp every time he gets hit now.
Well, Perry, I think that was Hamilton along with Perry.
It was Hamilton, Perry. They're just coming from every aspect. You just see they are just dominating the line of scrimmage.
Well, there's an official's timeout on the field. We'll take a quick timeout. It's 36-8 Bennett with 4:56 to play in the third quarter of the New York State Class AA championship game. You're watching the NFHS Network.
Imagine being a sophomore quarterback having to play against this. Pass was just too long.
DeAndre Johnson will punt it. That's a great end-over-end kick. Roseboro will let it bounce. It takes a Bennett bounce, and it'll be down at about actually hit that player at about the 23-yard line. Yeah, that was down by Cole Malarkey. So it'll be 1st and 10 Bennett, and my guess is they'll work the clock again.
Yeah,
the last drive was all on the ground, so
it's working the clock, but sometimes you score in 4 or 5 plays. So
well,
it's right. Yeah. What are you going to do? But
yeah,
when you have a line that good, that's just pushing back the defensive line for Newburgh, it's going to happen. And then even when you when you lose a line of scrimmage, you have players like Jaden Lewis, who was going to bounce off 4 players and then break it all the way take it to the house. So special team, this Bennett Tigers, and they are looking like they are on their way to a state championship.
And there's the handoff, and getting about 5 yards on the handoff. Who else but Jaden Lewis, who's had a spectacular day, and it's not even over yet. We're getting late in the third quarter, that clock becoming a much bigger factor for Newburgh. And Bennett now using up the play clock, as Davis is going to wait before he gets that snap. The play clock under 10. He'll take the snap, hand it off, and barreling forward, getting out close to a first down is Lewis one more time, and he did get a first down.
Yeah, they're really doing whatever they want to do right now, and you see it's very smart Antonio Davis waiting until about 5 seconds left on the play clock before he's snapping the ball, and then just giving it to your workhorse to gain 6-7 yards every time for a first down.
That time he snapped it with like 18 seconds left, and Lewis burst through there. He's very close to breaking another one right there, I thought, Tim. Somebody got him after about a 5-yard gain, but that guy doesn't get a hand on him. He's gone.
Yeah, so one of the things you could do when you keep going down to 5 seconds is the defense is going to start looking at that too. So you snap it a little early, you get them on their heels a little bit, and you saw that, and they almost broke one there.
They gave him a 5-yard gain on the play. As Bennett comes out of the huddle, Davis will survey the field. Keep an eye on the play clock, which is now under 10 seconds. And the game clock is at 1:50 and counting. And they'll hand it off. And nowhere really to run that time. A short gain for Lewis one more time. And he's down on the field. And his helmet has come off. Let's see what happened here. He looks like he's in a bit of pain, to say the least. We're going to take a quick break. It's 36-8 Bennett with 1:36 to play in the third quarter. You're watching New York State Class AA Championship Football on the NFHS Network.
Are you helping him out? Not yet. He's working at his left ankle, it looks like.
13 seconds.
We're not allowed to say 13 seconds in Buffalo.
We're back here at the JMA Wireless Dome. Jaden Lewis for Bennett still on the field, and they are going to help him up. And he is going to walk off the field under his own power.
This still just shows you how physical this game has been. It's almost every star has been down at one point. You had Perry, you had Thomas, now you have Lewis, you have the quarterback for Newburgh. So these kids are giving it all out there. They are hitting hard, and the line of scrimmage is just they're banging it in there, and it's been tough. Let's hope he's okay, though. He has had just an amazing football game and an amazing high school career for sure.
3rd and 2 for Bennett. Davis will go under center and let the play clock run down as we approach the final minute of the third quarter. He'll snap it. Looks like he took it himself, and they're going to push him forward for a first down. So the linemen decided to give him a little bit of help. And the chains will move one more time. You know, Tim, watching all these football plays where the linemen and the running backs will push the quarterback or the other running back, I'm wondering, are they going to change the rules to stop that? Or
Well, it almost reminds me of when they used to be able to help the guy jump over for kicks.
That's
you know
what
I'm
I
talking
was
about?
getting. Yes, I do.
And once that started happening too often, they killed it. And I think I kind of agree with you that I can see that stopping in the future also, because that's what it reminded me of. And I think you kind of feel the same way.
I do. 1st and 10 now. And there's the handoff, and no room to run for Shamir Land, number 3 into the game.
Yeah, I think they try to do away with plays where the teammates can give you another teammate an advantage on things like that. So,
well, that should just about do it for the 3rd quarter here, and that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. After 3 quarters of the New York State Class AA championship game, it is Bennett 36, Newburgh 8, and you are watching New York State Championship football on the NFHS Network.
And that will end your 3rd period of play.
Francis, we're getting every other word you were saying. Some of you were talking underwater. Do you have anything good you wanted to say that I can throw out there? Did you get your gum story out in the last game?
Today's 4th quarter is presented
Did you
by
get it out?
Yeah,
What you did?
Committee.
Set for the 4th quarter. This is Newburgh's 3rd trip to the state championship game. They lost to Orchard Park in 2011, lost to Jamestown in 2014, and will need a huge comeback to prevent a 3rd loss to a Section 6 team. As we start the 4th quarter, it is 2nd and 7 from the Bennett 47-yard line for the Tigers. So on that last play, they were able to come up with a 3-yard gain. And it looks like Jaden Lewis is back in this game. Davis will go under center. And he'll hand it off to Lewis, and Lewis doesn't look hurt here. He's got a 1st down, and he's spun around and tackled on the far side, but he still got the 1st down. It'll be a 1st down Bennett at about the Newburgh 41-yard line.
Yeah, look like his speed was okay. I think his legs are good. But, Stu, you asked me at halftime, what could the coach say? We said it's kind of going to depend on the first couple minutes. I think this is the point where you have to go to your team, your kids, and say, hey, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime thing. This is something you're going to remember the rest of your life. Go out there and have fun. Play till every whistle. Play to the end of the game. And obviously, you're going to be hurt for this, but you're going to remember this game the rest of your life, and it's not going to always be bad.
And there's a handoff. A short gain there by Noah McDuffie on the carry, and it'll bring up 2nd down, and a minute of the 4th quarter has already ticked by. 3-yard gain brings up 2nd and 7 for the Tigers. And on the Lewis run for the 1st down, it was DeAndre Johnson who made the tackle on the far side, and it was the old Greg Pruitt tearaway jersey. If he had one, he'd still be running. For those of you who remember Greg Pruitt, played for the Browns mostly, and they changed the rule because he wore a tearaway jersey. Right. And once again, Bennett will keep it on the ground. A very short gain there for Shamir Land. And so they changed the rule that you could no longer, I believe I have this correct, you could no longer wear a tearaway jersey because the only way they could tackle Pruitt was to grab the jersey. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 5 from the 38 for the Tigers here. And when this play is over, in fact, even before then, it will be under 10 minutes remaining in the game. And there's the handoff and a first down for Land, and he's brought down inside the 25-yard line. So Shamir Land getting in on the act here, getting some carries and making the most of his opportunities. He's a sophomore.
Sophomore running back. And Stu, Bennett isn't your typical double-A team. They don't have 50, 60 guys on the sideline. So you are going to see a lot of the starters in. It's not a reason that they're trying to run up the score by any means. They just don't have that many players on Bennett's team.
First and 10 now from the 24-yard line for the Tigers, and Davis calmly gets under center. And he'll hand it off to Land one more time. No room to run there as Newburgh is stout, and they stop him.
And Stu, we've talked a lot in the last half hour or so about the skilled players offensively. How about the defense for Bennett?
Yes.
I mean, 8 points, and it was basically just one drive. You have a touchdown on defense, and you have just dominated. You have taken away a Division I receiver. I don't know if he has maybe one catch. I
think he's got one, but I'm not sure.
Catch. I mean, that's a great player that you've just taken out of the game. I mean, that's an incredible job by this Bennett defensive staff.
2nd and 11 now after a 1-yard loss. And there's a handoff, and maybe Land got the yard back. And it'll bring up a 3rd down. A 3rd down for Bennett. It's been an impressive performance by the Tigers in just about every phase of the game, starting from the coaching staff on down. They've done a great job. A team on a mission, and it appears, well, within the 8 minutes, less than 8 minutes, they most likely will be able to say mission accomplished. But we'll see. Davis. This one is going to keep himself, gets a good block there, and I think he's got a first down. He got a good block. I believe that was Darrell Hamilton on the block that opened that hole.
Yeah, they're marking him about a yard short, Stu.
All right. Oh, okay.
But he did a nice cutback there by design run there for Davis.
Well, it's 4th down, but they're going to go for it and kill some clock.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and they don't have a kicker either,
yes.
So that's why they go for 2 on after every touchdown.
And Tim, you know what? First down.
More clock.
That'll stop the clock, but
yeah, it looks like they might run the play clock down.
Yeah.
They'll probably take a timeout right at the 1 second left on the play time.
That would be a great move. As the play clock hits the 2-second mark, the whistle blows. And Bennett takes a timeout. We'll take a timeout too. You're watching New York State Championship football on the NFHS Network.
For New York State Public High School Athletic Association Football Championship game.
The Tigers huddled around head coach Steve McDuffie as they'll come back out for this 4th down play. 4th and 3 from the 17-yard line.
You saw Coach McDuffie there. Still, he's up 36-8 with 7 minutes left, and he's still barking out orders. He's not going to stop coaching until this game is over.
He's not taking any chances.
Absolutely.
Could you go? You've got, well, I don't think they will, but they could go play action here easily. Oh, and they might have gotten Newburgh. They didn't get Newburgh to jump offside, although it certainly looked like it. And there's the handoff to Lewis, and I think Newburgh has him stopped that time. They're a little short. And that'll be a turnover on downs.
I'm surprised they didn't blow the whistle when Newburgh jumped. And usually in high school, they don't give you a chance to come back.
Well, they must not have crossed the line. So another shout out for the referees from the Capital District. Fred Guzelik is the referee, Bill Klein the umpire, Ron Day the head linesman, Larry Vecchio the line judge, Matt Redden is the side judge, and Ron Cleary is the field judge. I think that's Ryan Cleary, I'm sorry. Anyway, it's a 1st and 10 for Newburgh at their own 15-yard line. Hoover back into the game for Newburgh. And interestingly enough, Tim, you were talking about some of the helmets on Newburgh being some gold and some yellow. And you're right. Good observation. Throw on the far side is caught. And, well, Bennett's done a great job of tackling. No room to run after catch. Jay-Sean Thomas on the catch on the far side, but immediately 3 Bennett players are there.
Stu, Bennett tackles in the open field as good as any high school team I have seen in a long time. There's so many single tackles for Bennett that you don't see that too often. Usually it's 2 or 3 guys that bring down skill players, but these guys are so good defensively that they can make, and that's why it's so hard to throw screens and things like that.
2nd and 7, Hoover back to pass. Throws, caught on the far side and knocked out of bounds. Oh, no, it was not knocked out of bounds. It's Tajir Walker, so the clock will continue to run. And it'll bring up a 3rd down.
And that's another sophomore, Adam Nunez, number 10 out there for Bennett. Just swarming to the football, making a tackle.
So what you're saying is after all these young men graduate and move on, Lewis to UB, Perry to Syracuse, Coach McDuffie's cupboard is not bare.
Yeah, not quite. They and also when you bring home a state championship, you seem to find some more talent also.
Yeah, funny how that works, right? Here's Hoover, back to pass. That ball is tipped but caught by Jackson, and he's held up and hammered. Great play there. Adam Nunez wrapped his legs up, and Kamari Cook delivered the coup d'etat, the big hit there.
And again, a great play by the sophomore there. Adam Nunez had him wrapped up and held on to him, did not let him go till his teammate came over and just blew him over.
Well, now there's a flag on the play. Are they going to say he hit a defenseless player, or was that helmet to helmet, or?
What's weird, because where the flag is, it is by the ball too. Okay, so the one by the ball is also one by the middle of the field too. So the one by the ball could be the one like you were talking about, but he wasn't defenseless if you're
trying to go forward.
He's running the ball, actually.
Yeah, you're still trying to go forward.
So it could be a helmet to helmet. I didn't see that. It didn't look like it to me.
No, I didn't either. Well, we'll get the official call here momentarily. And that one's in the area closer to holding.
Right.
Maybe there could be 2 fouls on the play. Well, let's see.
Oh.
Well, 2 penalties on the play, roughing the passer, and a personal foul that had to be on Kamari Cook for that hit.
Okay, all right. To be honest, I didn't see the roughing the passer. So
I didn't either.
I was looking at the play where it was, and I personally didn't think that it was, that, but that's okay. It's okay. It's
again, as you mentioned, he's moving forward. He's trying to gain ground.
Yeah.
He was wrapped up. He wasn't tackled. His forward progress hadn't necessarily been stopped. But anyway, it's 1st and 10. Here's Hoover. He throws, completes to Tajir Walker along the sidelines. He's got some room to run, and he's shoved out of bounds. Roseboro started the tackle, and Jaden Lewis finished it. Good gain there. Another 1st down into Bennett territory. And maybe most important for Newburgh with 4:54 to play is that it stops the clock on the 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 39. This is a huge hill for Newburgh to climb.
Tajir Walker has had a great season, almost 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. He is their leading rusher.
He's had an outstanding game today, too. It's just Bennett's been dominant in so many areas.
Hard to run on this team.
And here's Hoover. throws to the near side. That one's caught and knocked out of bounds is Jay-Sean Thomas.
I really like this sophomore Adam Nunez for Bennett. He is all over the place. He's one of the smaller kids on the field, and he's fearless, dude. He is just flying to the ball.
Do you think it would be? Yes, you're right. But do you think it would be fair for the Newburgh people to be saying, where was this offense earlier? The short passing game, was it taken away by Bennett?
Yeah, it was taken away, but yeah, I think it would be fair because you could have tried this earlier.
Hoover back to pass. He's got some time. He throws over the middle. Incomplete, intended for June Rivas, and he couldn't bring that one in.
Yeah, so a little miscommunication on the quarterback receiver. Rivas maybe turned just a little too late. Was a pretty good pass by Hoover. Had Rivas turned just about a half a second sooner, he would have probably had a catch there.
4:10 to play. 4:13, excuse me. Here in the fourth quarter. Bennett with a 36-8 lead. This one's been all Bennett. Newburgh has had one touchdown drive, and maybe this one will wind up in 6 points as well. They got some help with a couple of penalties on this one penalty. And here comes Perry after Hoover, and the throw is incomplete. I don't think I'd want to see Perry coming down on me like Hoover had a view of him coming on that one.
They were trying to set up a screen, but that is no easy task.
Well, that's almost like trying to return a punt and looking where everybody is, except you have this big man coming down on you.
You know, Stu, I was just looking at the Newburgh roster. Also, they got a bright future. Also, they have a lot of 11th and 10th graders on their team, including their quarterback, who's a 10th grader. So they have a bright future for them also. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see them here again in the next couple of years.
It's so funny. I was just thinking the same thing. I mean, next year, for all we know, we could have a rematch.
Right.
Here's Hoover back to pass on 4th down, and down he goes. Darrell Hamilton gets him at the Newburgh 47-yard line. What a game Hamilton is having. And that is a turnover on downs.
And just when Newburgh just starts to get a little bit of life, Bennett just turns it on again, and a huge sack on 4th down.
And here's a replay. Hamilton just beats his man on the outside.
Yeah, and you see the frustration by 57, Fabian Roden there. He was just too fast for him there. He went right underneath him.
And Roden's had an outstanding season.
Yes, absolutely.
He's highlighted on my score sheet because of the season he's had. So 1st and 10, Bennett at their own 47-yard line, and we're just going to see a whole bunch of handoffs here. Would be my somewhat educated guess, I'd like to think. And once again, Mr. Davis will take time off the clock, and there's a handoff to Land, and a good tackle there for a loss by Newburgh, and that was DeAndre Johnson making the tackle.
And you see that it's starting to sink in over on the Bennett sideline. They're starting to celebrate with each other. You know, a lot of these players were here together last year, and they remember that feeling losing here. That has had to stick with them for a long time, and no better way to get that feeling out of their system than coming back here and winning in dominant fashion.
So 2nd and 12 from the 45 after the 2-yard loss. And look at Davis. He's just waiting for that play clock to tick down before he goes under center and takes the snap. It's under 5. It's under 3, and it looks like they're going to take a timeout here. Bennett takes a timeout. Maybe Coach McDuffie wants the celebration to not get going just so soon.
Well, he's actually yelling at the players, so he's upset about something. So, like I said, Coach McDuffie, he's not going to stop coaching. And it's not about coaching because he thinks he's losing.
Oh yeah,
he is a coach. The McDuffie family is a huge football family, especially in our neck of the woods. But it is in his blood, and he is not going to stop coaching until that game, the game clock hits zeros on the game clock.
Well, Isaiah McDuffie, Coach Steve McDuffie's son, is a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. And I was just looking at some college basketball rosters, and I'm pretty sure his daughter. I was looking at was it either UB or Damon's roster, or Syracuse's roster. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she's on. I think it's Syracuse. I'm not 100% certain. But his daughter, I think her name is Gabrielle.
Yeah, so he's such an athletic family.
You know, and how many McDuffies have there been who've been running backs?
There was Teddy in the late 90s who went to Temple.
And the young man who left UB and went to, I forgot where he went. I want to say Iowa, but I don't think that's right. And there's a handoff, speaking of McDuffie, to Noah McDuffie.
Also
and they ride him out of bounds. Yeah, they ride him out of bounds.
Yeah, another sophomore. So I
think he might be the coach's nephew. Not 100% certain about that.
Yeah. So let's do. How about the job that the coaching staff, McDuffie and the coaching staff did, dealing with the adversity that they had to deal with. They had an ineligible player because of some paperwork. So they had to take 4 losses. We're still able to get into the playoffs, the AA side, but to be able to put that aside and almost use that as fuel, it seems like.
No doubt.
They kind of went the us against the world type thing, and it is just, they have been on all cylinders gone.
And there goes Shamir Land. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Bennett. Shamir Land goes 45 yards for the touchdown. And that is the coup de grace, I would say. And we're going to pick a player of the game, and I don't think that's really difficult. I'll say Jaden Lewis. I would think you might agree. Number 7 for Bennett, Jaden Lewis, will be our player of the game. And Shamir Land there, a sophomore, as you had mentioned, with the touchdown run to make it 42-8.
Yeah, and Jaden Lewis, definitely our player of the game. But the offense and defensive line as a whole, as a group, and not just Perry, because he was incredible, but he also was double teamed the entire game. So for that, they're just a special unit. They dominated this game right from the very first play.
And they will hand that off to Roseboro. He will be stopped short of the goal line, so the score will remain 42-8. Darrell Hamilton has been a handful. They've been unable to handle him at all. Aaron Roseboro, you go back to that play on the far side where DeAndre Johnson couldn't go up and high point that ball, as you mentioned. If that's a touchdown there, that might change the complexion of the game. I don't remember if it was 7-0 or worse at that time.
It was close. When Newburgh fumbled, they were on the 20-yard line, trying to go into score. So it was an 80-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. So if that doesn't happen, there's just now obviously it's 42-8. But there are little moments that happen in games, and you see the emotions going on with the coaching staff and Rashad Perry, who was a 4-year starter for the Bennett Tigers. So what a way to end his high school career. Like you said, Stu, he will be playing his college career here at the JMA Dome. So that's pretty exciting, especially for him and his family.
Well, it's very exciting for me since it's my school.
There you go.
So I find that very exciting. And I'm very excited for Jaden Lewis, who's going to the University of Buffalo, and you can hear the Bennett crowd on the far sideline. And unfortunately, in these games, there's a winner and there's the other side. And
yes, absolutely.
Newburgh will feel the pain. DeAndre Johnson will go off to Rutgers. It's a high, short kick. It'll be fielded at about the 22-yard line by Alicia, and he will be brought down by Shamir Land, who just had that touchdown at about the 34-yard line.
Sue, what you just mentioned is really, it's why we love sports. It's why we're here. It's the highs and the lows. And I don't know if you saw any of the last game, but the last game was a 1-point game.
I did. We did.
And you literally saw the players for Pleasantville, and I'm not exaggerating, laying all over the field after the game, just crushed. And then you saw the other team jumping up and down. It's just one extreme to the other. And it's why we love what we do. It's why we love the excitement. And this is just, there's only 5 teams in New York that are in the public schools that are happy at the end of the season. That's a lot of teams that are not satisfied.
Well, you can see the emotion from the Pleasantville squad.
Yeah,
one of the players took his helmet, slammed it on the turf, and the others were just laying there.
Yeah.
As Tajir Walker gets a short gain there.
So it's almost like, it's what way is kind of the easier pill to swallow.
It's funny that you bring that up because it's like, well, we're Buffalo Bills fans, right?
Yeah.
So our football team has found Many
way.
great ways to lose football games, unfortunately. Now they've won a lot of games too, and hopefully this is their year. But would you rather be blown out?
Right, or do you lose with 13 seconds left?
The heartbreak, I would think, is worse. Here goes Walker around the far side. He's got some room to run. Gets around one man, still going down that far sideline and runs out of bounds.
I think sometimes when you lose games like this, like right now, obviously it hurts, and I'm not downplaying that. But you almost kind of find ways to still enjoy yourself a little bit. And when you lose on a last-second type of play like the previous game, it hits you so fast, and it's like this swarm of emotion just comes over you, and like you realize that your season's over, a lot of your high school careers are over, and it just hits you like that, like a ton of bricks. Where this has kind of been like a slow pain process type of thing.
Well, let's just say that your girlfriend dumps you one day, or do you want a slow and painful, let them down easy. Well, there's nothing easy about it.
Right.
So there's no good way to put that. When you lose, it hurts. It's hard. These are high school kids. They'll remember this the rest of their lives. Right. And I'm betting that the Newburgh team, top to bottom, will do what Bennett did and rededicate and redouble all their efforts to get back to this point in the season as we're in the final minute of play.
And I think Coach McDuffie will be the first to tell you that you have to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win.
Yes.
And I think that's what this Bennett coaching staff did, as not just the players, the coaching staff had to learn how to lose. And then when they learned how to lose, they came back this year and dedicated their entire season to getting back to this point.
Well, we've got a little scuffle near midfield, but it's quickly broken up. Walker again on the carry as we're in the final 30 seconds. So Bennett will be the second City of Buffalo team to win a New York State championship. It was South Park in 2015. I was here for that. As we're in the final 14 seconds, this, if they run the play, will be the final play of the game. And Hoover takes the snap, drops the ball on the turf, and is buried, and that will do it. The Bennett Tigers are the New York State Class AA champions, and the celebration is underway. Is that an injured Bennett player on the turf? Hopefully not, as Bennett will celebrate the win, and Newburgh will feel the pain of defeat. A great game for Bennett. They win it 42-8. They dominated from the outset. And we were tasked with picking the player of the game. All right, well, so there's our player of the game. We'll come back and see more from Jaden Lewis. But the final score, Bennett 42, Newburgh Free Academy 8. Bennett wins the New York State Class AA championship. You're watching high school football on the NFHS Network.
He is so far.
So, Tim, we're going to toss it down onto the field.
No.
And then wrap it up.
Talk about Lewis for a second when the camera's on him.
Presentations? Okay. Well, there is your player of the game, Jaden Lewis, who had a fantastic game. He opened the game with a 77-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage. He did it all, offense, defense, the kicker. What a game. He's the College Avenue player of the game. Well earned, as you see him getting a big hug from Jameer Thomas, number 2, and well-deserved for Jaden Lewis, headed to the University of Buffalo. And Tim, he's one of the 10 finalists for the Connolly Cup, which will be awarded tomorrow night at Ilio DePaul.
Yes, absolutely great season, great game. Jaden Lewis, he had a touchdown rushing, a touchdown receiving, he had an interception on defense. What an exclamation point for a high school career. I mean, we mentioned a few times last year, 7 interceptions for touchdowns. I had to look at that like 3 times. There's no way that could be right. Not just 7 interceptions, 7 interceptions for touchdowns. That is incredible. And what an exclamation point for an amazing high school career.
Well, this is one of those times where statistics do tell a lot of the story. Look first at turnovers. 4 for the Goldbacks, none for Bennett. I'm not a big believer in time of possession, but Bennett won that one. Passing yards, only 92 for Bennett, but there are a couple of touchdown passes in there. I think 3, 294 yards rushing, and almost 9 yards a carry rushing.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
And a lot of the passing yards for Newburgh, they came in 1 or 2 drives also. So it was a dominant performance on offense, defense, and special teams for Bennett. And they just, right from the very first play, like we mentioned, they caught Newburgh a bit out of sync defensively, then offensively, and they put their foot on the gas and never took it off.
Well, there's Coach McDuffie. Congratulations to the Bennett Tigers, Coach McDuffie, the entire team, the entire school. They cap off a fantastic season. Coach McDuffie having a word with Richard Perry. And hopefully Richard Perry continues his successful football career here at Syracuse University, and perhaps even beyond that in that league that plays mostly on Sundays. Well, Mondays, Thursdays, Saturday afternoon sometimes. But congratulations to all the Bennett Tigers, as you mentioned, overcoming some adversity, a very punitive decision, I think, over what appeared to be a clerical error.
Correct, yeah.
And you know the funny thing, whenever you try to punish a school, you wind up punishing the players who had nothing to do with it, which I hate. But there's a good look at all the Tigers waiting for the awards to be presented as they continue shaking hands with the Newburgh Goldbacks. And Newburgh had a fantastic season. Unfortunately for them, they ran into what I'm going to call the Bennett buzzsaw.
Yep.
Clearly, the Bennett was the better team today. And I guess sometimes when you lose, as you mentioned, you lose a championship game, you want to get back the next year and do it better. And in this case, they did. And there's the result, 42-8, a dominant performance in every phase of the game. And we're going to have the awards, and we're going to go down on the fields for the awards, as Bennett will get its championship trophies and Newburgh will get its runner-up trophies. So we're going to go down on the field and enjoy the awards presentations. Then Tim and I will be back to wrap it up shortly after that. Let's go down on the field now if we can do that.
Please direct your attention to the field, where the following individuals will be presenting today's awards. Dr. Robert Zayas, Executive Director of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association. Joe Altieri, the Assistant Director. Todd Nelson, Assistant Director. Gary Vanderzee, the New York State Football Coordinator. Ken Stolt, the Section 6 Football Coordinator representing Beckman High School. And Dave Coates and Tom Casetta, the Section 9 Football Coordinators representing Newburgh High School. Congratulations to both Bennett and to Newburgh Free Academy on your well-played championship game. You should all be extremely proud of the work that you put in this season and your tremendous achievement in reaching the state championship game. Let's hear it for these two fine high school football teams. Players from each team will be presented with individual medals to commemorate their achievement as state championship competitors. First, the finalist medalist to our runner-up from Newburgh Free Academy. Gentlemen, please come forward as your name is called. Number 1, Xavier Sill. Number 2, Jason Johnson. Number 3, Carl Shaw. Number 4, Tajir Walker. Number 5, June Rivas. Number 6, Jakari Johnson. Number 7, Bryce Buxton. Number 8, Elijah Bevier. Number 9, Daryl Jackson. Number 10, Mason Cooper. Number 12, Josiah Staples. Number 13, Bruce Montgomery. Number 17, Ryan Villafueve T. Woods. Number 18, Cole Malarkey. Number 20, Jyshawn Hall. Number 22, Joseph Elisea. Number 23, Jaden Sanchez. Number 24, Louis Tejada. Number 27, Matthew Patterson. Number Number 28, Quincy Modestai. Number 30, Jared Palawan. Number 34, Bolswell Podolak. Number 44, Jack Millen. Number 50, Jacob Burgos. Number 51, Nicholas Marino. Number 52, Carmen Marino. Number 53, Braden Gonsack. Number 55, Will Ortega. Number 56, Matthew Babcock. Number 57, Fabian Rodin. Number 58, Tybir Robinson. Number 59, Christian Petre.